Elon Musk loves his theatricals, and it's been slightly over a year since he acquired the Twitter platform, but the journey has remained that of turmoil and drama. About 5 months back, he chose to rebrand the platform to X.com, and he made that decision despite the fact that company has been mired in controversies relating to job cuts, drop in user base, threats from the presence of new platforms like Threads and Blue Sky, TikTok announcing text only posts, all that political commentary, growing discomfort amongst the advertisers, and the associated financial challenges. This has confused the users, business community, marketers, and brand strategists alike. This rebranding to X.com is not a sudden move. There is a backstory to Elon Musk's excessive obsession with the letter, and I'll give you a few examples. Starting from his first successful venture, PayPal, he wanted to rename it as X.com. You can find X in the name of his space company SpaceX. Tesla has an electric SUV called Model X. He recently launched an AI app called XAI, and the name of one of his children starts with X. I must admit, I find myself incapable of pronouncing the name properly. In the typical Elon Musk style, posted, soon we shall bid adieu to the Twitter brand and gradually all the birds, followed by a second tweet adding that if a good enough X logo is posted tonight, we'll make go live worldwide tomorrow. As expected, the tweeps were quick to respond. MKBHD posted, I'm still gonna call it Twitter, to which Musk responded, not for long. Gradually, the mainstream media followed suit, primarily criticizing the move. Here's a few examples of what the media and branding experts had to say. Tech reporter Casey Newton described Musk's approach of owner of Twitter as an act of cultural vandalism. Orlando Baeza, a former marketing executive and branding leader who has worked with brands like BuzzFeed, Paramount, and Nike, he said, I think there was a true affinity for Twitter and the brand by their power users. This is a dramatic and unexpected turn. Their brand identity went from feeling warm and welcoming to the dark and members only. And to top it off, this all happened overnight, literally. Aaron Hall, the man behind the brand name MasterCard, said it's very limiting. It's just a letter and it's so overused. I don't think the letter X, I refuse to call it a name, does anything for him. Sean Thomas, an executive creative director at a global agency, in an interview shared, I know everything's going to say it, but it does deserve an absolute dunking on if I'm honest. I love Twitter and I used it for years. When you're on the homepage, the logo is black and white, but all the UX and UI is blue. People still say I'm tweeting things rather than I'm Xing things. I just think it's a shame. You have thrown away loads of distinctive assets. You have thrown away a platform that was really good. You go on there now and it's just disinformation. It's fake news. All these perspectives are valid in similar and different ways. But then I started thinking there must be a different way to look at this whole story, right? I mean, while the media and brand strategists have their own right perspective to put forth, I kept looking for something interesting and a different spin to this whole melodrama that's been happening. And I found an interesting blog from the feedback analytics platform Thematic. The platform analyzed real reviews from Twitter users on the iOS App Store and Google Play Store from 23rd of July, when Elon Musk announced the change to 10th of August 2023. The sample side included a sizable 44,000 reviews in and under a fortnight. The blog provides specific data points generated by thematic across themes and subthemes representing user sentiment across all the reviews analyzed. The overall feedback was mixed, with some users complaining of bugs, glitches, and slow loading times following the rebrand. Other users appreciated the platform's freedom of speech and news and videos features. There were complaints regarding the new name, logo, and the presence of racist and sexist accounts. The sub-theme analysis specifically focused on the rebrand indicated that the majority of users had negative sentiment. Many felt the brand was unnecessary and stripped Twitter of its personality. Some suggested it was more of an Elon Musk ego trip than a helpful move for users. Some users were disappointed about losing useful features and criticized new monetization rules as money grabbing. Only 58 of the comments were positive about the rebrand. In their view, the change to X was a good move for an everything app. A month later, another round of analysis was done using the platform. This time, there was a decrease in the number of reviews. There had been fewer people who had provided feedback about how they felt about X and the rebrand, and the responses were slightly more favorable. With more reviews discussing moderation, privacy, and security, attention had shifted towards the app's functionality. It appeared that the rebrand, despite the controversy, had settled into a new normal, with fewer users providing feedback. Compared to an estimated 500 million tweets per day, the sample size is too small, but this interesting data backed analysis of the rebrand brought forth two interesting findings. One was that the rebranding brought a strong negative sentiment amongst the users. It also surfaced a constructive feedback about the platform, like presence of malicious accounts, loss of useful features, and the platform's monetization policies. Second was, it seems that the public memory is very short. A month later, people continue to criticize the platform for its functionalities, safety, etc., but not so much the rebranding itself. Does this mean that people eventually get used to changes? Or does the decline in negative reviews indicate decline in users? Or worse, suppression of speech on the platform perhaps? This data driven approach was pretty interesting, but I had too many unanswered questions. So I looked at what the CEO of Twitter, not X, had to say immediately after the announcement was made on the platform. Twitter CEO Linda Yaccarino tweeted, posted the reasons behind the rebrand. Broadly, the reasons or potential why of this rebranding mentioned in the posts could be categorized into three buckets. The first why was the rebranding represented changes in the platform itself. Originally, Twitter stood for being a web based real time status slash short message communication service, which it delivered effectively and consistently. Relaying Musk's vision in the SEC filing last year, Linda stated that the platform will become a global town square with no clarity what it actually means and how it is actually represented by an X. Through a series of posts, Ms. Yacarino talked about the second bucket of why of the rebranding, which was enhancements in platform features and functionalities, which in many ways appeared contrary to the reality. She talked about unlimited interactivity in the platform, while Elon Musk decided to prioritize paid users in his replies. Then, the platform had imposed limits on viewing posts, and sending DMs. Then she mentioned the availability of multimodal content like audio, which was introduced as Twitter Spaces long before Elon Musk took over, video which has been supported by the platform forever, except for allowing upload of longer videos which is available for paid users only, and messaging which is the core purpose of the platform, and it has now been limited and deprioritized for free users in Elon's replies. There were also a few forward-looking features and enhancements like introduction of payments like payments on WhatsApp, but it is yet to be implemented on the platform. I had read somewhere that the company has registered with the US Treasury Department to start processing payments. But let's see when that happens. She also talked about enabling e commerce features on the platform, like Facebook Marketplace. It is a necessary feature for a social media platform today to have, as it brings exceptional value to businesses, marketers, and end users. But on the contrary, at a New York Times event recently, Elon told the advertisers to get lost in so many words. This does not necessarily make the platform attractive for e commerce if the rapport with the advertisers is impacted. And lastly, she talked about bringing AI to the platform. Recently, Grok chatbot was introduced, but its lack of availability to free users makes the implementation of AI powered features counterintuitive. The third and the final bucket of the why that she mentioned in one of her tweets, my apologies, posts, was unlimited transformation on the platform. It is not known to many what transformations are being referred to. Moreover, the company's financial state does not look good with the news about rent for some offices not being paid and lawsuits by vendors for non payment of dues. One would wonder how unlimited transformation would happen with so many financial challenges that the company is facing today. The decision to rebrand needs to be done carefully and thoughtfully based on a deep understanding of the target audience in the market. Looking at some of the widely accepted principles for rebranding, rebranding to X does not satisfactorily check the boxes. One of the foremost principles of rebranding is that it should increase the chance of performance rather than amplifying the status quo. In case of X, the opinion of mainstream media and brand experts and the indicated user sentiment does not convey that. Instead of increasing its user base, the platform seems to have lost a percentage of its monthly active users. Typically, brands carry out a comprehensive brand audit to understand the current state of the brand and identify the white spaces that rebranding could help them to own. It is hard to say that such a diligence was done in this case. It appears to be more of an instinctive move than being research and data driven. Then, understanding the needs and perceptions of the target audience becomes important to determine what could inspire and excite them with the rebranding. The criticism shared by the users after rebranding to X around safety, sexist and racist accounts, limiting features, etc., indicate that little or no consideration was given to the platform's users' wants. While moving away from an existing brand, business must factor in the emotional connection the target audience may have with the existing brand. Please understand, companies rebrand to innovate and adapt, but the target audience may not be necessarily excited as they may find the change in brand a bit jarring. This could not be more true for a brand like Twitter that had seeped into the cultural context and lexicon. Tweeted had become the act of becoming part of the online chatter on the platform. And the people who participated were fondly referred to as tweeps. The brand cachet Twitter had is all wiped clean for a letter that doesn't mean anything to the users. If all this dissonance was not enough, in the same New York Times event, Elon remarked, "It's not a tweet, it's a post." For ardent platform users, it can be truly jarring and a bit harsh. Additionally, businesses prefer to test out the rebrand elements with the target audience to make sure that any crucial aspect is not ignored. This did not seem to have happened in case of Twitter. A single post with a minimalist Art Deco style logo was shared. Maybe it was tested before, but many people found it sudden and unsettling. This is not new for Elon Musk. He nearly divided the Twitter into half with the release of the design of Cybertruck in 2019. He seems to have a polarizing effect on people when it comes to design. He made the SpaceX Starship rocket pointier based on a scene from the movie Dictator. At the end of the day, what all this melodrama about rebranding Twitter to X actually mean for the marketers and the businesses? There is a common understanding amongst brand managers that a brand is not a mere name or logo. It is a promise of the experience the product or service it represents can deliver to the end users or customers. But the shift from Twitter to X does not adequately convey the intent to fulfill the promises that are being made. Changes are announced suddenly and new features are introduced, but only for paid subscribers. Then Elon Musk makes remarks that make advertisers uncomfortable. In the midst of all this chaos, there are a few questions that marketers still grapple with today and would definitely need answers to. How does the company intend to retain and expand its dwindling user base? If all the new features are available only for paid subscribers, what is the ROI of having a paid business account? What about the small and medium businesses who have limited marketing budgets? For small and medium businesses, having a reasonable presence on the platform or who are looking to build presence on the platform, if posting long form posts and videos means additional monthly spend, why should they not consider competing platforms that offer such features for free? If the users are unhappy with the current features and functionalities on the platform and advertisers are being shooed away, how will the platform become attractive for e commerce businesses? With so many limiting features and preferences towards paid users, why should they consider Twitter or X in their channel mix in 2024 and beyond? I think it's reasonable to say that Twitter or X is not going anywhere, and its value in the social media landscape cannot be disputed. For sure. But all these controversies surrounding the platform, sudden and erratic changes in platform functionalities, preferential treatment towards paid accounts, and limited access to new features give cold feet to the marketers because they are the ones who seek dollars for developing content for the platform and ad spend. And they have to show the ROI for every dollar spent. They need clarity on why they should consider the platform in their channel mix and not move to competing platforms. It has been nearly 5 months since the rebranding. Still, people use the word tweets because Xed doesn't mean anything. I don't know if you noticed, but I had to apologize 5 times for saying tweets instead of posts in this episode. As of publishing of this episode, the subject of the email notification received from the platform still reads X, formerly Twitter. If people still have to be reminded of what the brand is, and businesses and marketers are confused, probably the rebranding was not particularly right, if not wrong, or the symbol for wrong, X. Do you consider the rebranding to X a mistake? The worst rebranding of 2023? Share your thoughts in the comment section. Subscribe to this channel for more such content. Talk to you in the next one.